this month. A beast from the 80s is set to cause a stir in the showroom.
It was bought by Jack the Lads. It was bought by lads who wanted a bit of flash. You could have Porsche performance at half the cost.
A rocket ship on wheels. A working man's supercar, the Sierra Cosworth. Ford man Dave loves it.
They put that lump in the front, which had a humongous tuning potential, and then the rest is history. Off they went. So if you could afford one, you bought one.
Only 5,000 Whaletail Cosworths were made. It was as loud as 80s Essex could get. With a Garrett turbocharger and twin fuel injectors in each cylinder, it was a race car on the road, topping out at 153 miles an hour. Car thieves targeted the Cosy, knowing they could probably outrun the law in their Rovers and Escorts. The police levelled the playing field by buying their own Cosworths. But here's the thing. In the 80s, a new one cost 20,000. In the 90s, you could get one for under 10. Recently, a near-perfect limited edition RS 500 went for £122,000. In the Matthewson's garage, one of the chosen few left is up for grabs.
It's a real genuine car, a real honest car. What you see is what you get, which is what Ford guys like. Just about all of them were messed about with. You know, people made them how they wanted them, you know, from cosmetic changes, you know, geared knob changes, radio changes, holes cut in doors for speakers, white dial kits. And then that's before you start moving on to wheels and engine modifications and all sorts of upgrades, which is great, but not many people want that. You know, there's more people want a standard, unmolested car by far.
The car's being sold by Doug Hodgson, ironically, a former bomb disposal expert.
It wants somebody who is going to restore it and then drive it and probably frighten themselves to death with it.
The Cosworth isn't roadworthy, has 99,000 on the clock, and has been in storage for 15 years. But Doug is asking big money for it.
It's something and out in the trade to sort this car out. A bit of superficial rust, but nothing that would worry me if I was younger. Bodywork's pretty good, apart from it wants a couple of inner wings, a couple of front wings. I have driven one of these, and they are very enjoyable. But yeah, they're so fast. Well, a racing engine, so and that wheel tail there isn't there just for fun. That wheel tail is for downforce, because they are absolutely like a lethal weapon.
Cosworths came in 3 colours: white, black and moonstone blue. Enthusiasts Paul, Mark and Dave have the complete set.
They're an iconic car. Obviously in the 80s, when these came out and were produced, there was nothing else like it on the road. You were buying supercar performance for a working man's budget.
All totally standard. It had most of its original parts on it when I did buy it. In the youth I did put a stainless exhaust on it, but now it's all back to its original exhaust, just as it would leave the factory in moonstone blue.
I've owned this car a year to the day. Done nothing with it, just parked it in garage, and that's about it really. Just always liked them ever since I was a kid. It's this car to have when I grew up. It was, don't know, for want of a better word, council estate supercar at the time, weren't it? So just always liked them, like the look of them, like the wheel tail. Nice car.
News of an unrestored Cosworth at Matthewson's has piqued their interest.
It's gone quite bad on inner wings at both sides.
I think seat's got a bit of driver's wear on the driver's side.
Passenger seat's remarkably good.
Only on cloth though, the rest of it feels fairly good.
What's headlining like?
Paul Linfoot is the Cosworth expert. He also restores them.
It's very, very original though, isn't it? Everything's there.
It's
all the original bits are still intact, which is a bonus.
And may bid for it.
Normally we spend hours and hours on the internet, eBay, wherever, trying to source original parts for the restorations. So although it needs a lot of repairs and a lot of work, a lot of our time is saved for the fact that it is original and all there.
The body shell's a big problem. You've got quite a lot of welding work to do at the front.
In its current state, Paul reckons it's worth $13,000, way short of what the owner wants.
We often say we're only going to pay X amount, but on the day, you know, your heart takes over, and quite often you do pay too much. But the good thing with these cars at the moment is they're very much in demand, and obviously if it's restored to a high standard and looks good, it could be worth quite a lot of money once finished and done properly.
It's auction day, and the Yorkshire heavens have opened.
It's the snow and ice that put people off, really. Most of us just put a coat and hat on, don't we, when it starts a bit of rain, bring out the brollies. So fingers crossed, this'll do. Look, the sky's bluing up now, it's brightening up a bit, so it'll be all right. Over there, look, behind you. Blue sky of Rydale.
Oh, what? That'll have them flocking out, won't it?
If only they all knew. If only they knew. Hey.
You going to put a bid in?
No, I've no money. I've just bought an Escort, so I've no money. But it's certainly a project.
It's going to be at least probably 10 grand to get it back. And a lot of hours. It's a nice motor though.
I remember when I was younger, I paid £3,800 for a Sierra Cosworth. Not a bad car. I ran it around for a bit and I sold it for £3,800. But them days are long gone, aren't they?
1987 Ford Sierra Cosworth, heck of a car, got the makings of a lovely car, genuine, wants some work, we know.
Owner Doug's here to see the Cosy go.
Whereabouts going to be? Whereabouts on this? I've got 15 here, 15, 16, 17, 17, 17, 18, 18, 18,000, 250, 18,250, 18,500, 18,005, 18,500. N, you're out, I'm submitting, 18,500. 18.5 submitting.
18.5. Bit short, but just enough.
I'm a Yorkshireman, so I'm never happy with the amount of money that I do with deals, but at the end of the day, you know, it'll sort of put a bit of jam on the bread as well as butter.
Coming up, the Cosy's long road to restoration begins.
I liked the idea when we heard that we were coming down that I was going to be working on a Cosworth, because you know, it's sort of like it's an 80s car and I'm an 80s guy, so.
But what's happened to the Sierra Cosworth?
18.5 submitting.
Owner Doug reckoned it would be an easy fix.
It's something and out in the trade to sort this car out.
The car's now in bits in Bradford. Specialist Ford restorer Neil Pennywood is giving it the once-over.
I liked the idea when we heard that we were coming down that I was going to be working on a Cosworth, because you know, it's sort of like it's an 80s car and I'm an 80s guy, so.
It's a good job he's keen.
The slam panel itself, that all needs replacing. All of the inner wing is rotten, so all that needs replacing. The plastic holds mud, it holds anything that holds water, so it causes the panels to rot underneath them.
The final bill could be a whopping £25,000.
Hopefully, they will see that the money that they put in will come back to them, and some.
After placing a phone bid, the Ahmed family from Bradford are the new owners.
All right, Neil.
Fahil will be overseeing it.
So today we've just come down to have a look at obviously what his price is up for and how much work and time it's going to need.
The bonnet, because of all the corrosion, will take that for stripping.
Fahil has owned other classics, which he only uses on special occasions.
Our first car was a Rover P4 and we was getting more attention than the Lamborghinis and Ferraris.
To the sills. The bottom edge is starting to rot. I know through experience that if that bottom edge is gone, you've got another 2 inch above that, which will have rotted away.
They're going to strip it to bare shell and do whatever's needed, so we're going to get the full works done onto it, so hopefully when it's ready, it's going to be like it's just rolled out the factory.
See how it's starting to rot round edges? Just a little bit spidering up. Once again, not a bit major problem. Door off stripped, all cleaned up. Besides that, it is absolutely a 1980s Cosworth.
What about money?
At least 5 figures.
The work will take 4 months, and then it could be worth £45,000.
Well, the price isn't the issue, we just want the job doing right. So we're just looking forward to once it's done.
The family plan to keep the car as an investment.
So where you going now, the bank?
I think so, yeah.